Okay, this is the 31st.
I know what this is. This is the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what
This is the most
it's
dangerous one.
Proverbs 31. This is it out of Proverbs. Message. This is short and sweet. Speak out for justice is what it's entitled. The words of King Emuel, the strong advice his mother gave him. So this is the king, came right straight from his mother's mouth. O son of mine, what can you be thinking of? Child whom I bore, the son I dedicated to God. Don't dissipate your virality on fortune-hunting women. Promiscuous women who shipwreck leaders. Does that make sense? Women, gold diggers is what she's talking
Makes
about.
perfect sense.
Highly favored, deeply loved.
Doesn't mean I'm not tempted, but it makes perfect sense.
Hey, they're still there, brother, I know. I used to manipulate them when I was younger. I'll look at them. Leaders can't afford to make fools of themselves. Man, too bad America doesn't listen to that. Although we got a good leader in there now. Gulping wine and swilling beer. At least hungover. They don't know right from wrong. And the people who depend on them are hurt. Use wine and beer only for sedatives, as says sedatives, to kill the pain and dull the ache of the terminally ill. So that's what this person, this mother of the king, says about beer and wine. Only give it to the terminally ill. Let them get drunk because they ain't got nothing going for them. That's what they're saying. For whom life is a living death. That's fine. Not saying you can't have it sick from time to time. That's not what he's talking about.
Just drink it for your stomach.
Yeah, a little sweet for the stomach. That's right. Excuse me. I blew my nose
Like
on the
the-
camera. But
Well, I sit like the bottom of a bathtub.
speak up for the people who have no voice. Now, who are they talking about?
The poor and the
The
down.
serfs. Yeah, the people that aren't in the
Has no
position.
leverage in life.
Right. For the rights of all the down and outers, speak out for justice. Stand up for the poor and destitute. Now, how can we use that today in the 21st century? What's he talking about? Very first spiritual law that I use.
Someone in Rick.
There it is, brother. Thank you.
Someone-
You see somebody like that, Eddie does this a lot, give him a couple of bucks. So, you do that in your church all the time, Chris. If you're in, line buying groceries, which I don't shop, so I don't do that, but I used to. Always seemed to be somebody had to put something back and they didn't have the money, I'd give them the money.
They're on the EBT card.
Now, yeah, it's changed now, you're right. Government does it. It's awful. That's not the way to
You
do it.
can't buy beer with them, but you can buy a cigarette. No,
No, but you can sell the cars and get the cash.
yeah,
That ain't changed.
that
So, yeah, I used to do that, a few bucks there and give it to them. They thanked me and forgot about me as they hit the door, but it doesn't matter. It's not what you get from that person, it's you doing it out of love for the Lord. There's got to be a reason you're doing it. It should always be for the love of the Lord.
I used to go by, hadn't done it in a long time, but put dollar bills, in the beanie weenie section of the grocery store, where they have pork and beans.
Yeah.
Because, I know a lot of folks like that, so I just put them under the cans.
Did you really?
Just put them there.
I never found any. I like beanie weenies.
Well,
I'm not saying I needed them.
How about sardine cans? Did you put some under there?
no, just beanie weenie.
Beanie Weenie.
Well, that's what the Lord told you then.
Yeah,
Well, that's what you did.
That's fine.
That's wonderful. But that's what we're talking about, is blessing. It always comes down to bless the less fortunate. Or it could be bless somebody that's got more money than you. If God says to bless them, bless them. It didn't matter. The person is the leading of the Lord.
You get this stuff in golf all the time. The guy he'll leave his wallet in his golf bag and you go in to eat lunch. Wow, I don't have any money with me.
Yeah.
And you have to buy his lunch.
Yeah, that's on purpose though.
Sure.
Oh, really?
half the
Do that
time.
on purpose?
They do that all the time.
But you can do it out of love.
Well,
And then
I quit worrying about it.
well, that's what I'm saying, but you do it out of love.
Mhm.
But if you do it then, see, you've turned that negative into a positive. Because anytime you give out of love, and that's what you're supposed to be doing, love not for yourself, not for the money, not to get the return, but the love of God. But what does the natural law say? Give and it shall be.
It doesn't matter, see, you're right, you're right.
Yeah, when we were down there in Auburn the other day, we were stopped in a Longhorns to eat, and a young black guy, that was his first day of waiting.
Ooh.
He was scared to
Oh,
death. And he wrote out everything, you know, and he got the order wrong.
Yeah.
And so we got down to bringing the tickets out, and I got talking to him. You know, I've been around those young people like that, and I said, now my bill was $20.50. If I give you 20% tip, what would that be?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that, brother.
I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have
They
done it.
don't teach how to count.
And I said, I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna round that number off. And I gave him $15. he put the knuckle on me, man. So quick you went playing. Those guys I was with, they got the biggest kick out of that. But see, his big old smile, man, he couldn't thank me enough.
Yeah. But see, you blessed him. You are a blessing. And it came from God to you, to you to
Yeah.
him. See, but that's what,
See, I took some extra money down there. It didn't matter to me. I mean,
yeah, but it does matter. That's
well, I
what
took it out of my wife's allowance, so it didn't matter.
Always. But that's what we're supposed to be doing, is blessing the people that don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's not about their
And
economic.
that was fun. That was fun.
But you're a blessing. It's always
Yeah, it's
fun.
always
It is, man.
Yeah, not out of necessity, but out of the want to.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
It's so much fun, I use my imagination to see me doing stuff like that.
Yes. But that's what.
Shoot, I used to never do anything like that.
That's fun.
Well, I told you about the time my wife gave away $5, and that's all the money we had at that Bible study.
Right.
You remember?
Right.
Got 500.
Yeah, the car was out of gas, and we got there and drove home, and we still had no gas. And this was, 15, 20-mile trip, round trip,
Yeah.
which is a long ways for Oklahoma, or it was back then. This has been, 40 years ago or so. But anyway, but that's why, see, she did it because that's what you do. We didn't know we were supposed to get anything back. We didn't. But she did it without even asking me. And because she was I married her when she was 19, and she was a kid. But anyway, but it happened.
Yeah.
And because that's the law of reciprocity. That's the way it works.
Was she number one? The
The
wife.
wife that
Oh, no, man, she's number 4.
Four.
Well, at that time, 3. Yeah. Let's see. A good woman
What's
is.
this like doing?
Number 3.
Well, if you live in purgatory, I'm sorry for you. If you're not, I celebrate you. I've had good ones, bad ones, and in between ones, so. Hallelujah. I was a rotten egg and everything, so. Him to a good wife.
Here we go.
A good woman is hard to find. Hallelujah, amen.
What
Amen.
number is this one, 9?
10.
Yes, okay.
10.
This goes 10 through 31.
Yeah, it's all about the woman.
Yeah, and that's what it should be. A good woman's hard to find, and I agree with that. I'm still looking. Only at afar. Worth far more than diamonds. So he's putting the relationship, if you find a good woman, more expensive, more quality than diamonds, and diamonds, as we know, are very expensive. And this is back in the Old Testament time, so diamonds have been around for a long time. Her husband trusts her without reserve and has never had a reason to regret it. Never spiteful, she treats him generously all her life long. There's not a woman I've ever met or known or anything else that's like this. So. She shops around for the best yarns and cottons and enjoys knitting and sewing. She likes a trading ship that sells, she is like a trading ship that sells to faraway places and brings back exotic surprises. She's up before dawn preparing breakfast for her family and organizing her day. She looks over a field and buys it. Back then, women could buy stuff like that, fields, homes, stuff. Then, with the money she puts aside, plants a garden. So she's always using that money to generate future worth. First thing in the morning, she dresses for work, rolls up her sleeves and eager to get started. She senses the worth of her work. She understands that the value is in her, and when it's in her, then whatever she does receives that value. You see how that works? She senses the worth of her work. Is in no hurry to call it quits for the day. She is skilled in the crafts of home and health and diligent in homekeeping. Hearth, I guess it is. Hearth. Yeah. Diligent in homekeeping. So her family, the house, all the domestic duties, I'm sure she had a maid. But anyway, that's the value in her life. That's where she is the overseer. There ain't anybody like that I know of on this time, in this day.
Well, verse 15.
I got one like it.
Verse 15 has the maid and assigns tasks to her maids.
Okay. That's a different translation.
It is. It's amplified. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's why I put the maid in. Because I've got several translations of this in my head floating around. Oh, let's see. She's quick to assess anyone in need. They come to her. She's generous. Reaches out to help the poor. I don't go around doing that. She does. She doesn't worry about her family when it snows. Their winter clothes are all mended and ready to wear. See, back then you didn't go buy new clothes. You mended the ones that had holes in them. They were seasonal.
Or wear a hand-me-down.
Yeah, you can't hand me down much because they wouldn't fit.
But when you're the last of 8,
No,
whether it fits you or not, then you get the hand-me-down.
well, I was the first of 3. And,
So they'd have to take them up for the rest of them.
yeah, I had one pair of shoes back when we were kids. I mean, my father got some raises, but when we were back living in a triplex, had one of those old iron tractors sitting in the backyard with metal everything. You remember those? Yeah. You won't, but.
Metal wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
had
tread.
cleats on them.
Yeah, cleats on them, yeah. And I could never get it started, but, because I was like in 3rd grade or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's how we grew up in this triplex. And we had a shower, we didn't have a bathtub. I used to have to put the washcloth over the shower drain so I could float my boats. You know, I had 2 boats, little plastic boats I used to play with. It was back out where the FAA is, but back then it was barely, it wasn't anything like it was now. And the guy and his wife, they were heavy drinkers next door, and they'd get in a fight, and my dad go over there and knock on, beat on the door,
Don't be
slap them around, you know, get them to quit fighting. Because they'd go boom and the wall would move. And then the other people on the
Were you
other
in a duplex?
triplex.
Triplex?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think it was like a 1-bedroom triplex. I don't remember that part. I just remember the violence or the real happiness.
Yeah.
Or me being a kid. And the kids next door had a bunch of kids, and one of them had polio. And we tried to play hide and go seek. It was on right across from the barracks, the Air Force, and they had stuff stored and all airplane parts and crap, and they had a fence. I used to cut through there to go to school. Anyway, I always had holes in my shoes, so I had to put cardboard in the soles. And good times, brother. She's quick to, I've already done that. She reaches out to the poor. She doesn't worry about her family when it snows. The winter clothes are all mended and ready to wear. I said that. She makes her own clothes and dresses in colorful linens and silks. So what's that say? Silk and linens back then were very expensive, still are. But she made her own clothes, but she used very expensive materials to make them with.
So it lasts long.
Yeah, and plus she was in vogue, she was in style. And
Make her husband proud.
yeah, that's why. That's what she's there for. Not to compete with him like all my
And they
life.
talk about them at the city gate.
Yes. Her husband is greatly respected. Not just respected, but greatly respected. When he deliberates with the city fathers, that's when he's out there in the BS meetings with the guys that run stuff. She designs gowns and sells them. So she's not above selling stuff. See, she makes these gowns and they're beautiful and she can sell them for scooties. Brings the sweaters she knits to the dress shops. Not only does she make design and make clothes, but she makes sweaters because she can knit. Her clothes are well made and elegant. That's the clothes that she makes. They're well made and elegant. So they have some pizzazz, some style to them. And she always faces tomorrow with a smile.
Amen.
And how many of you do that?
I mean, what?
How many guys in here do that? Can't wait for tomorrow with a smile every morning. You may.
My wife says I'm too much Pollyanna.
Too much Pollyanna?
Oh, yeah.
Too much.
I accuse Ron of wearing Pollyanna glasses sometimes. Because all he sees is good and everything.
That's because I read every day with a smile.
That's it.
There you go.
He does.
Deep fracking will do it to you, man. I was out there this morning, and I lost the moon. The moon was behind me. I was looking at the eastern sky, and the moon was behind me.
Yeah.
It was a cloudy day too.
Yeah.
But it's attitude. This is what this is talking about, is
But you
attitude.
can't do nothing about yesterday, but you can do something about
You can
today.
you can do anything that you believe you can do about your surroundings. Now that's what you've been taught. But
Well, I mean, yesterday is past. You know, if you've had a bad little situation, you know, today's a good day, man.
yeah, you forget about that and you go,
Yeah, get on with life.
But you can change stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have the authority. That's what I'm saying. You've got the authority to speak those things are not as though they were.
Yeah, if you want to carry drudgery to the next day,
Well, no, because
you can.
You can go back in time and change that too. But you gotta believe it, and most people don't. I won't get into that.
No, I ain't gonna get into it.
No, because
I don't like to even think about
I know, it blows a fuse, I understand. But there are things that you can do. You're not subject to time, space, and matter, only if you want to be. How's that fit, Chris?
it. Now, here's an interesting thing that yours didn't say, but mine says in verse 24, she sells it and delivers girdles to the merchant.
Yeah,
One says, calls those sashes.
Oh, really?
yeah, they didn't have girdles back then. And stuff, it tied a knot and
Yeah.
squeezed until you pop. But yeah, I mean, if you really get down to who we are and what we have, what don't we have?
I mean, we got everything.
That's what they say.
We got
I
it.
mean, that's what the Word of God says. And Jesus has given us what?
Everything.
All things.
Everything.
To pertain to life
And godliness.
and God. And life means this dimensional reality that we live in, plus heaven, spiritual things. We got it all. But most people don't believe that.
You know, the
Because
Lord,
they don't see it. They feel it.
But that, once again, that's going back into the physical.
Right.
That's going into the five senses. In spirits, those things don't go to the five. Yes, sir.
when I went down there to Auburn, I prayed life, light, and love over at the golf trip down there. We stayed in this guy's house. It's 5-bedroom, 4.5 baths, about a $600,000 house on the golf course for free. And then the golf course was beautiful.
Well, it isn't. Yeah, in Alabama, of course.
And
It's a human.
but everything went just as smooth.
That's what you want.
And all those guys that were, you know, that were with us, they couldn't get over having somebody to offer that to us.
Hallelujah.
And but that's a good thing.
Yes.
that you get as a Christian.
That's a camaraderie that you called into existence, because that's what you want.
Yeah.
Well, that's the power that you have.
And that,
That was so much fun though, just,
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be. It's not
yeah,
supposed to be a drudge, it's not supposed to be
Yeah.
a problem, it's not supposed to be this, it's supposed to be fun.
yeah.
That you can celebrate and talk about to other people so they can change their attitudes from being, oh, poor me, you know, to I'm blessed, highly favored, and deeply loved. Hallelujah.
but
Yes,
that's
sir.
the mindset we gotta get, because it's not taught in churches, it's.
No.
Yeah, if they just, back to the past, they think they're victims.
Oh,
And that the victim mentality keeps them in the past, and you can't get them in the present to look, to rewrite their past, or to get in the present to see their future. Because they won't let go, because
That's it.
they're a victim.
Yeah.
That falls in a lot of the church mentality.
It's the let go part.
Just to let go. They don't want to forgive. They hold on because they've been a victim, and that's what a victim does. They hold on to the bitterness, or they use it as an excuse of why their life is what it is today because of what happened yesterday.
yeah, because they can't blame themselves, see.
Exactly.
They gotta point out, and it's not me, it's not my fault.
There's no fixing that either.
No.
There's never a
You
fixing.
can't. It has to be
And,
done.
and I know people have been hurt, and there's things, but there's like, well, I don't know the name of that thing, but there's like people that I know very well that I'm, close to, that everybody, you always go back to how they were raised, or they go back to this, that I am the way I am today because of how my daddy did, or how my mama did. Grief, it's just like trying to get them out of that mindset.
Yeah, that's over.
It's just.
But they don't want to. They make a decision not to, therefore they're gonna stay in it. Yeah, it's
And
a
they'll
vicious
stay the
circle.
same way.
Yes, sir.
The easiest way to get out of that mindset is to identify that the old you is dead and in the grave. And that's the new you.
Right.
So if any old you stuff pops up, you say, no, that's the old man.
Right.
And the new man is not doing that. That's right. And you go down the path as the new man.
Boy, I saw that
It's a
in the
decision.
true and the raw when I went back to my high school.
Yeah.
The old day, I wouldn't even touch it. I didn't want anything to do with it. Because if I'd have stayed in that, what I would have been like, just like them. Negative, fat, smoking, drinking.
But you didn't.
See, run.
I got out of it.
Yeah,
That's exactly
because you wanted to.
Yeah.
You made a
I
choice.
made a choice.
It's always about
That'll
choice.
never work unless you persuade your heart that what you just said is true, that you really are a new creation.
Well,
The old is really gone.
the other the other day, I went over to the Tin Can Fish House to eat some oysters. And this girlfriend that brought a lot of negative energy to me was there. So I just went in the back on the deck, me and Jackson, to not even be around her.
Now, wait a minute, we got an old girlfriend?
Yeah, you missed that chapter.
I missed that. Okay.
But anyway, the negative energy just started coming on me. She knew that I was there. And the guy she was with us, I texted him, I said, I don't want to see her, I don't want to talk to her. It was a friend of mine that she was talking to. And anyway, but it was just a bunch of negative, and that was the past. And so I played the Healing at the Cross meditation about 180 times from 5 days ago until a couple of days ago, and really got down in my mind, my spirit, and everything. The old man is gone. He's dead and in the grave, and I'm the new man. So I'm never going to the Tin Can Fish House again. Even though it's the best oysters around, I can walk there. I'm not ever going there again because there's no reason to go. That's the old man.
Yeah.
Negative energy over there.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So anywhere there's old man stuff, you just say it's dead. He's dead and in the grave.
Well, and that, you're right. But the key is that you have to decide. The decision only becomes in you. God's not sovereign over that process. You are.
Right, and that's why I'm playing the Healing at the Cross meditation about the old man being dead in the grave 180 times. Help me get where I'm just.
I read that thing the other day where you were chewing somebody out about being negative, that we're going to all be positive within the family here, type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the guy said or what he'd done, but you handled that just right where, if he read that, he ought to get the hint real quick.
Yeah, I'm meeting with him on Friday morning to make sure he got the hint.
Okay. But it was smooth.
Yeah, it was Holy Ghost
It
delivered.
wasn't any ugly stuff, that would alienate him. I mean, you know, it's all about love, man, and working together.
This is where the rubber meets the road, right here. And what Chris was talking about, these folks that you're talking about, Chris, they don't see who they really are in Him. That's the problem. They don't, and they refuse to believe it, that they've changed.
But they don't see themselves the way God sees
That's
them.
exactly right. And that is the origin of what sin is.
See, some of those things you've been sending out there that I get in the morning from you, it's almost like a poet is writing that stuff. I don't know where you get all this stuff, man, but the Spirit is led.
Holy Spirit, Lord.
Yeah, it's open up you,
Is that before or after you take your medicine? That's what I want.
but it's beautiful, man, about how you make that so plain and good that I can understand that.
The truth of,
I haven't been reading, see, I don't read stuff like that normally, but I read that so intently when you send it to me. That's new
Well,
stuff to me.
there's hardly nobody teaching that kind of stuff.
No!
well, the truth of what you just said is that people don't see themselves as God sees them.
Bingo.
That's the truth with all of us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Exactly
we got
right.
to,
Exactly.
renew, like the Lord
Yes.
says, renew. And
It's constant. It's
constantly
Yes.
be moving over, moving forward to where we see ourselves as God sees us. And
Diligently seek that renewal.
Here's what I've said. I must accept God's view and opinion of me and reject all others, including my opinion of myself. There are over a couple of hundred times in the New Testament because of what Jesus did that God tells me of my new identity and the way He sees me.
Yes.
God sees me as loved, righteous, favored, accepted, anointed, blessed, helped, complete in Him, and so much more. Since that is the way God sees me, then that is the way it is.
It is.
That's right.
Praise
See, God sees you as He sees Jesus in the natural form.
Yeah.
There's no difference.
Yeah.
And Jesus was sinless, right? Well, that's how He sees us. God and sin cannot be in the same place, same dimension. Because just the ability of God destroying the sin is natural. It comes to God. You can't have dark and light in the same room. Right. And God's light. Right. And evilness is darkness.
But you know,
It's impossible.
Lord, it's a humbling thought to have that revelation come to you, that to think how you are looked at by God.
I know, you're right.
I mean,
Eddie, I mean, it's.
you know, we've been looked at, I've been criticized and dog cussed so much in my life because of a coach
Yeah.
that you get accustomed to how sometimes people think you're some kind of stupid idiot walking on this earth. But to think about how He looks at you and how proud He is of you and how much He loves you, it takes a long time to get into that.
Well, you gotta receive it, and that's what you're trying,
Trying to.
You're having problems with receiving it because you didn't earn it. In your whole life, you had to earn everything.
Yeah.
Well, not with God.
Yeah.
See, we don't have to earn it. We don't have to jump through the hoops.
Yeah.
We don't have to do this and that and that and this to receive that.
I hate to have to wait 75 years to learn that.
Well, it's because of, your decision. Is that
Me
simple?
too. I mean, for 40 years, I wouldn't even taught it in any churches I went to. Any!
Well, it's not,
None.
well, that truth is not in churches, other than Chris's, that I know of. But he chased me for 30 years. I would not succumb to God, because I didn't think I was worthy, because of all the other people dog cussing me my whole life.
Well,
But I was born this
You're
way.
not worthy, but you're in Jesus and He is, so bingo. So,
I was worthy before I was in Jesus, because that's why He chose me.
You were
He
worthy, yes.
created
You
you.
had the value, yes.
That's what I'm saying. I was worthy. I had the value. It was my decision to choose Jesus or not.
But why is it
God
so
had already
hard?
chosen me.
Why is it so hard for you to teach that in your church?
God, what a great question.
It's not, because that's all I do.
But I mean, what is the stumbling block that people can't see through that and accept that?
Well, I mean, I preach it and teach it, whether they get it or not, that's up to them. I mean, I speak the word all the time. It's truth based on what, like we talk about in here. But, all I can give account for is for what God put me over. And I always watch who gets behind the pulpit, you know, I just don't let anybody up there. You know, 'cause you gotta protect it.
Yeah.
But in other churches, there's other preachers that preach something similar, okay? Because I have fellowship with other churches. So everybody's, especially non-denominational churches,
Right.
Pentecostal, charismatic churches,
Yeah.
everybody is dancing around this campground where we're trying to
Right.
set, okay? But you get into religious churches and get into Catholicism,
They'll
all of
fight
those things. It's all about major control. And so, they're not going to, you know, the Catholics only believe they have the right to even read the Bible themselves.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they even got extra, the Apocrypha, they got extra books that's not even inspired books. So they're going to go by what the priest says. So it's just a religious devil.
Even to the point
Control.
where they will protect a pedophile priest
Yes.
and not squeal on him if they know it. They won't say anything about it in the Catholic Church.
It's a lot of,
That is amazing to me.
What Lord
It's the way
just
you were
said
raised.
is kind of, when he says he was worthy before he was in Jesus. And think about that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh, absolutely.
that's the way God sees you.
Yes.
Even before you were in him,
Yeah.
he sees you as worthy. And
Your,
you
your
think,
value before you're born again, one person's value is the same as Jesus. It has to be
and
true.
you
I
think,
kid a lot, but some people in my church, I tell them I was a Baptist 9 months before I was born. Cause my mama took me to church every day. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I knew anything about Christ until I became accountable to that day.
You need to know when you take that, what it means. And
Yeah.
most people don't, they just do it.
Yeah.
well,
I ran from my mom, when she
Well,
used to drag me to church, and I
you know,
go,
what a lot of people don't want to admit is in the Bible, but it's there. I mean, Jesus himself said it. He said that there'll be those that will come up to me and in the last days say, I prophesied in your name, I cast out devils. And he'll say, depart from me, you work iniquity, I never even knew you.
Right.
yeah.
So the power of the name of Christ works whether the person's saved or not saved. They can prophesy whether
Right.
they're saved or not saved, and God can use them. Even Paul said that people are out to try to harm me because I'm in prison, but they're preaching Jesus, so let them preach because Jesus is getting preached. So it's about the intimate, it's about the know, the identity.
it's a relationship.
So, it's all about
It's becoming one.
It's one.
So you gotta become one.
And where it says that we're one in spirit, that word actually means intertwined.
Yes.
That's not just like my spirit's here and the Holy Spirit's on another section. I always tell people at the church, it's like because I love to eat, it's like a twisted donut. It's two different donuts, but it's one donut because it's intertwined. That's how we are in the spirit, just one and the same.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing.
But that's where our spirit came from, was from
Yes.
the one. See, God put the spirit in you.
That scripture's amazing because even in that scripture right there, that person's about to be sent away from Jesus. They're actually trying to use works to make it.
Oh, yeah, because you're relying on
No,
yourself.
you're right,
See,
exactly.
that's the ego taking
Grew up
control.
that.
Even though I never knew you and never really loved you, look what I did. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, look at all these works, you know. Yeah, well, it's not about works. It's about you following through
Well, it's-
from God's.
It's taught from the pulpit in a lot of churches
That's
that
true.
you've got to add to what Jesus has done.
That
Well,
makes
not
sense.
And that's what the
Yes.
performance base is.
That's where all
And
that's.
it's the mindset, okay, Lord, you got me saved, but it's up to me to keep me saved.
Oh,
And
that's,
they get into that religiosity.
So does that mean that you gotta be holy? Is that the same,
Yeah.
saying the same thing you're
Yeah,
saying?
trying to,
your spirit is holy. That's all you gotta worry about. The flesh is like an old pair of tennis shoes. Feels comfortable. But it's an old pair of tennis shoes. That's all it'll ever be. You can't bring the flesh into perfection because it can't happen because it's not made to do that.
well, they think that when they sin, their spirit's tainted,
Right.
and it's not.
It's not.
Ephesians
Well,
1:13,
they just
you're
don't believe
sealed.
the truth.
Now, that don't mean you go out and live in sin and do all that. You'll be the devil's target, or you'll die from sin. Wages of sin is death. So we understand that. But they think that they have to keep their spirit perfected by their works, and they'll pay penance. And
That's Catholic Church
that's
right
Catholic.
there.
They'll pay penance, and then
Right.
what we call it is repentance.
Yeah.
Okay, which you know, that it's not penance, but it's almost the same religious mindset. I've got to do this, 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 like we always say, it's I.
Yeah.
Well, what is it that you do to be spiritually minded? How do you train yourself to be spiritually?
Meditate. I don't want to cut you off, but it's
Yeah.
meditation is
Right.
the only way you can do it.
Persuade your heart.
Because it says, be spiritually minded, not carnally minded.
Right.
Because carnally minded is
That's
the
flesh. That's the ego taking over
Right.
and making the
And
decision.
so to be spiritually minded is the same thing as trusting the Lord with all your heart.
Heart, mind, and soul, yes. And do everybody do that? No. Nobody
Okay,
does
so
it 24/7.
Ron does, he does a lot of meditation.
Yeah,
to
see, Ron said-
renew your mind as to
He has to.
what you already got.
Yeah,
You
to be
just
spiritually
renew.
minded, one thought is to think with God. So if a thought comes that's not godly, then you're not being spiritually minded, you're being carnally minded, because that thought, we want to get better and better at saying, no, I'm not doing that. I'm over here. And I'm going to stay over here with my new man. I'm going to have to let the old man thoughts come in, because they're already in the grave, they're dead. They can't-
But unless you know that that is a bad thought, it's probably just creeps in automatically anyway, unless something triggers you to know that that ain't a good thought.
Renew the mind.
If it's not in line with God, then it's not a good thought, even though it's.
But you gotta know what's in line with God.
That's right, yeah.
That's why you renew.
You know, a good way to not know what's in line with God is to keep the TV on and not turn it off.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's why it says, do not be conformed to this world. That means turn stuff off.
It's being subject to. If you believe in your 5 physical senses that they're 100% right all the time, then you're subject to your senses.
Right.
Let God say, put me first. Always put me first.
It's 100% God, none in you.
No, not in you, 100% God. And He's already put that in you when you became born again. What we have to do, since can make a decision, we get to choose on everything.
It's a constant choice. You're
It's
right.
a constant choice
Yes.
because we have free will. God gave us free will because He doesn't want us to become His disciple because He said so. We get to choose. And that's what makes us different than the angels. They don't get to choose.
You know, when I look back on when this started, I started getting the light about 7 years ago, and it had something to do with these two guys right here. It's kind of like, but what I did was what Jim Richards, and you listen to his tapes, a lot of his tapes, and you'll hear him say the same thing. You get to a point where you say, okay, I've got to start over. I've got to take all the religious stuff that I've learned, throw it away.
Yes,
You've got to just start over
yes,
and get into the pure milk of the Word and let the Holy Spirit show you.
yes.
There's no other way.
No. That's why meditation is so good for you.
That's right.
Because you disconnect from the natural world when you're in meditation. You're not in space-time and, what was it, space,
Time.
time, and matter. You're not in that.
Yes.
You're in a place that is subject only to your imagination. God can't even get into your imagination. You're the sole proprietor of that imagination.
The thing that you were reciting when you were in the tin can, the cross, on before the cross, or something that
The
you said.
meditation Richard's meditation of at the cross, and it's a.
About the old man being,
Yeah.
being crucified with him.
Right with him
going-
and dying
Yeah,
with
the
him.
one you go to is Galatians 2:20. Yeah, that's the one.
And then you seeing yourself, your old man down there when you come up with him and
Yeah.
being raised with him.
You've got all those meditations.
And
like that.
feeling
I
the,
know it, but that's off my phone.
Constantly.
Something I got off my phone.
I'll put it back.
constantly feeling the power and energy of the
Absolutely.
new man, right now.
Right.
You know, right over and over, right now. And one way to, you've heard the story that if you want to get to know somebody, go tent camping with them for 30 days. You have no power, you got to chop wood and draw water, you got to cook. Well, you get to know somebody if you tent camp with them for 30 days.
Yeah.
And
Or you can call me.
Yeah, tell me how it was. I'm gonna stay here.
So, God told me a while back, He said, I want you to tent camp with me in blocks of Scripture. So I've done that. But the last 2 years, I've been in John 16 and 17. And he told me the other day, I think I told you, he said, every day for the next 20 years, I want you to be camped with me in Romans 8, 26 through 31. And learn, and pray in tongues, extended periods of time, just while you're doing everything. Yesterday I met up with Jim Palmer for a meeting, and he walked up and I went, "Si bratisha woke with me." And he went, "What I got I said, "I was right in the pen." I started,
Who interpreted?
years ago, I was doing that. God had me doing that, and the UPS guy came to the door. And I'd been praying for about 4 hours. I opened the door, I went, "I see what they called you." He said, "Huh?" And I went, "Hi."
That is funny.
But it sharpens you to because it says we're in perfect harmony with Him. And so if you camp in Scripture, pray in tongues, and stay away from humans and the outside world, then you can really advance.
And when I get into doing that, like in Galatians 2:20 is my favorite place to go. But every time I go into it, something else comes out. Something else, something else, something else. Every time.
Yeah, faith.
And I start seeing details about, Jesus was laid on the cross. They had to raise him up, but he was nailed when it was flat. Things like that,
Yeah.
Is that important? Yeah, the blood came out before the sin hit him. It was perfect then. Things like that.
Yeah. Glory.
But
It wasn't perfect later.
But you're in a different dimension.
All right, that's true.
You change dimensions when you're speaking in tongues. Because you're not subject to the reality that you're living in, that you created. This reality. When you're speaking in tongues, you're in a higher dimension. What you're doing is confessing or speaking in tongues in the Holy of Holies. You're in heaven when you speak in tongues.
Wow.
So you're completely devoid of the physicality down here on earth. Now, that's your choice. You can do it or not.
Right.
I choose to. I'm not saying you have to. It doesn't bless you anymore. You're still highly favored, deeply loved. God doesn't bless you anymore. But when you're doing that, you exit this reality, which I thoroughly love. I don't like being here anyway. But when I'm up there, I'm dancing and celebrating and singing and doing all the things with Jesus in the Holy of Holies, in His throne. And God's sitting there on the throne celebrating.
That's good.
But that's the things that we can do since we're His kids. But we get to choose. It's always going to come back down to your choice. See, you don't have to be, I'm not saying it's a have to thing, it's if you want to. That's what makes it so cool. It's up to us. And it should always be up to us. That's why we're not an automaton. We're not an angel. We're not made to follow what God asks us to follow. He doesn't tell us anything. He asks us. So it's always going to come down to what do you want to do? You want to please God, to please yourself? Well, that's a side product, but that's not why you do it. You don't give to get. But it's a spiritual law that has to follow through. So you will give and you will get, but you don't do it to get it. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of backwards, but that's the way it works.
That's because you realize that your state, which is the same as a realm,
Yes.
is the kingdom of God.
Yeah. See, you get to bless people, which in this world, and what does that do? It produces more blessing. Because you're giving it out of love, out of not necessity, but out of what you have for that individual. And you do it in love. Well, what's that promote? Love. It also supports the law of reciprocity.
Explain God doesn't tell me, He asks me.
God will never tell you to do anything because you've got free will. You always going to have to ask for your permission.
And you say that again?
He has to ask you, not tell you, because then you wouldn't have free will if He told you.
That's right.
So the asking for permission is, give me an example.
Well, if I said, go do this, did I ask for your permission? No, I told you to go do it. And you probably would because of our relationship.
Right.
I should ask you because I'm not here to use that emotion that I did on you so you would go do it. It eliminates the free will.
Okay.
So
But what if you ask the Lord, because you preface it by saying, it is written in your word, Lord, you said this. Now I'm gonna, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, I'm gonna ask you for this, or ask a request for.
What has he not given you?
Correct. It's already done.
See, this
In the
is,
spiritual world, that's true,
Okay,
but I'm looking for something physically sometimes.
I understand that. You don't live by flesh, you live by the spirit. That's what he tells you to do, because if you're limited to the flesh, then what's governing your life? The flesh. And he wants to be the number one.
okay, now, then give the coach, he's asking in the spirit, so how should he approach God spiritually? for
Celebrate
this-
the end from the beginning.
Okay, so, now, give an example, coach is asking for something, give an example of the
Do
celebration.
you pray rain or do you pray for rain? If you had your choice.
Probably for it.
Yeah, well, that's what 99% of the people do, and that's why it didn't rain. And God, he said, I've given you all, what, all things. Is there anything exclusive of all? No, it's all. All is all. I've given you all things that pertain to life, your existence here on this earth, and godliness, and that's spiritual things. He's given you all, so why
Okay,
would
now,
you be asking for
let's
something?
explain
that's
that
given
as to rain.
Okay,
Okay, so, say you want rain. Normally, you say, I'm gonna pray for rain, but what the Lord is saying, that God
Thank you
says,
for rain.
the rain is already here.
yes,
It's-
you thank him for that manifestation.
Yeah, okay.
You don't ask for it because
I
you've already got it.
And so you,
Well,
And even though you don't see it in the physical
The
world,
scriptures confuse a lot of people with certain things. It says, ask, you shall receive. You have not because you ask not. Different things of that mentality. Philippians 4:6-8.
yeah,
It says, let your petitions be made known unto the Lord. All those things kind of confuses some people with the translation.
If you will go,
But I look at it like this. It's like a child, it's like a kid going to their mom or daddy with asking for something to eat, but they already know they're not going to be turned down. Because their mom and dad's going to feed them.
yeah,
The kid knows that. And it's all about the mindset and the approach. You know you're going to eat because the parent's going to feed you. So
you just want it now.
you just want it now.
all right, Lord, I gotta share something with you now. Are we all from?
We're still on.
Okay. Something happened to me yesterday that I gotta get your advice and all of you people's advice that happened to me. I wasn't looking for this, I wasn't wanting this, I didn't even seek it. But I got a email. Now here I am in a church and we're looking, and I've been talking a lot about the needs that we have of getting young people to come to our church.
Right.
We need them, we want them, we're gonna even give them, I'll take them to lunch if they come, if I invite them, if I see them, I get introduced on Sunday, I'll take them out to get them to come back, I'll do anything almost. Well, what's happened to me now, the young people, the young couples called me yesterday to come and teach their Sunday school class. I wasn't looking for that no more than a man in the moon.
Yeah, you were, but you didn't know it.
I didn't. And,
That's the
and when they,
subconscious conscious.
huh?
That's the subconscious conscious.
Well, I said, I sat there and I started meditating on that. I said, I'd have to give up my time about studying, preparing, making a commitment, the whole 9 yards of teaching an adult class.
Your time, right? Not yours and God's time, but your time. You see the difference there?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So, I sat there and meditated, studied on that, and I don't know why. I wrote that girl back, I said, I will commit.
Yes.
I will do this.
Hallelujah.
You give me a book to study. I gotta have some material. Man, she wrote back with me. She could. Hey, she had done put the network out. All these young couples in there. There's about 20 of them in there. I gotta come through Sunday.
No, you don't have to come through, you already have it. In from the beginning, brother. Always in from the beginning.
And so now's my chance
Yes,
to motivate them to go out and do that same thing and invite another person
yes,
and another couple
yes,
to come and we start building.
yes.
I've been talking about that. Now the Lord has given me a chance to do that.
Well, he does. He had to wait for the right person to listen to him, that they would call you. So he's talking to everybody all the time.
It's all rigged, man.
Yeah, see, it is.
It's all rigged.
Of course.
And I've been thinking about that. I committed to this, doggone, I tell you, that's something else.
But it's not about you. That's about him in you. See, you think I can do this? I barely got out of high school.
I love it, I love it, because half of the words that the Lord tries to read, he ain't reading them right.
No, and I suffer from dyslexia on top of it.
So,
Yeah, I don't.
But the
But
point
it doesn't
is,
matter.
we get the gist of the deal because it's coming from his heart,
Yeah,
not his
yeah.
mind.
You might even, about the third or fourth or fifth class, say, I'm gonna bring in a guest speaker, bring Lloyd in.
Oh, I don't wanna run them off.
I'd burn down that.
They'd quit church. But I tell you what I am gonna do now. I'm gonna take them a step farther than what we've been doing.
Good. As long as you do it in love.
Just like what he's talking about. You know, there's some things they've been so accustomed to hearing, you know, little goody two shoes things, you know, hey, and all little couple things, you know, got little children and stuff. But see, I'm beyond all that.
Yes.
I gotta take them a little bit step of what we're talking about in here, of getting into the scripture. Truth,
Not religion.
right.
That's what it
You
is.
might want,
Meditation.
you might want to start off the first class and say, catch this thought. Jesus said, everybody in this room can walk on water and raise the dead. I don't know how to do it. You guys don't know how to do it. But we got that mountain that we can climb because he's already said it. So let's get after it.